So you have self-sufficiency and you have the concept of dream. So I'm just going to break down why people are so confused. So regardless of whether or not you're in the NFL, you have to come to the point in time where you're like, you can't make money off football forever. This is an injury. This is the reality where you can't play that forever. So in some way, shape, or form, you have to set up your life to where you're able to make money or sustain, either if you have kids or something. You have to find a way to pay for that. But most importantly, I'll leave it like this. I had a heads up when I was 18 about everything. So that's why it's been really easy for me, because you just told me the truth, and you set me up for success. And he said, you have to, some people are sheep, and you have to understand that they're just telling you a bunch of things. So what you don't want to be playing sports is the person that's absorbing information from a bunch of strangers. And he said the reason for it is because you actually may be better than all of them. You may be the first time you're seeing someone like LeBron, like he is a multi-talented person. Like he's better than the coaches at playing basketball. And some of those people never played basketball or football. They never played football, or they never been an entrepreneur. So basically what he's saying is that you are a very gifted person. You have a motor, but you don't have to listen to a lot of the people you're meeting. So just know that these people are not like you. So you can do what you do. And what he's getting to is, if they tell you to be conservative, like they tell you to dribble, go up and dunk. If they tell you, hey, listen, go out and have a ton of relationships, be popular, maybe you don't have to do that. Maybe you could just be with one person if you're that good at attracting a really good person the first time. So what he gave me credit for was, he was just saying pretty much take risks, but know that your risk-taking is based off of your talent, and you're a smart enough person to do it. So just telling people what happens is, he basically said, know how valuable you are. Know how valuable you are. And he got really angry at me, and he's like, you're valuing some of these people a little bit too high. Like you're giving them too much credit. Like even with my dad, it's like, not dismissing him, but I'll just give an example. I kept bringing up females into the conversation, just like people are trying to bring them into the conversation right now. And he got so angry with me. I've never seen someone get angry at me like a father, like this guy did. But he just told me, you keep talking about this specific girl or these specific people. Why do they matter? And I kept bringing up, and I said, because I love and care for them, so I'm trying to, make the best decision. But he said, but they're fake. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, they're fake. I can't guarantee that they're good enough to stay around you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, show me their Instagram right now. And the point of this is, he wanted me to see something different. He's like, this person reminds me of somebody that I used to know that couldn't do anything for the person she was with. And if you spend your time on this specific person or these people, you will find out that it was a complete waste of time and energy, and you should have been focused on doing something 100% yourself. So just moving this forward. Isaiah, you're really good at fitness. So why don't you focus on fitness? Why don't you just attract fitness people, or stay active? Just do you. If they don't understand it, it's because they don't know how to do it, and that's all that is. And there's a lot of people like that. They don't know how, and they don't know how to learn, or they don't know how to sustain it. But you have somehow learned how to do something, so go do it and put it in front of everybody. And don't be afraid to put it in front of everybody, because it's not a bad thing to put in front of everybody. So long story short, that apparel deal and Nike deal is what he was referring to, meaning that you're eventually going to have something of your own. It may take a lot of time to do it, but you're going to have the ability to do something on your own that stands out. You get that's away from football, and you're going to be able to build your identity, and you're going to be able to make money, no doubt about it. But he said, start looking. And then when I was in college, they were more stern about this. Start thinking about this as the starting point of your career, and not as a final point or an entry point, but like one chapter of your life. And so when I started looking at it as one chapter when I was in college, I said, I don't have to do this forever. So instead of me being like, oh, I have to do this forever, it was an eye-opener, saying that maybe I want to do something else. Not saying Ronda Rousey be in a movie, but I'm saying that, I want to be an architect. Some people, they do business. So it's like, I want to be a businessman. So I started taking my time. Instead of rushing things, at 18 and 19. I really focused, and I really looked at like the red shirt and why they have minor league. It's like, you think minor league is because they're slower. Like, minor league is because they want to get better at what they do. So it's like, you could even say JUCO, like, oh, JUCO, it means they're not. No, JUCO just gives them time to get good at what they're doing. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with skill set. Like, oh, he can't throw a football or he can't run in a straight line. It gives you time. So I'm using my 20s, my entire 20s, to do the same thing, which is take my time learning how to do a lot of things. And then, if it's meant to be, go back into that environment as a businessman and see what they have to say about it. So far, I'm impressed with myself because I didn't really make a lot of mistakes. And a lot of people before me had made a lot of mistakes. And I don't know, I'm looking at them and I'm looking at me and I'm like, for me it was very smooth. But for them, I'm like, why? And I'm going to just give people a little bit of a tip. The reason why I'm succeeding in life is because I understand this one principle, that things must happen in order for everything to be in line with the universe. So what this means is you have bigger businesses whose roles are supposed to be big, so it has everyone's attention. So Hollywood has people's attention all around the entire world right now. So if I'm supposed to impress anyone, it'd be to impress the big dogs, which is the people at Disney, no matter what. And I love Disney, and I know it's Disney World is 3 hours away, but the point is that be in Florida or go to Cali, But for the most part, it's like I knew all I had to impress for the rest of my life was that specific group of people. Because if NFL didn't understand, I know somebody else would understand. I'm going to kind of leave it at that, and I'm going to just bring in modeling for the example. You have tons of models, and my frustration was I want to get out of football, and I want to take the time to show people what they sound like. Football has a bad rep because they tell people the wrong information concerning health and fitness. When you go into the modeling world, a lot of people don't know that their standards for modeling are much different than the standard for football. It's completely opposite. I'll give an example. You don't have to be big to be a model. Some people think you need to be shredded to be a model. That's not true. In fact, they actually like you to be somewhat, to look almost, to not be a masculine man. Just be more aesthetic to the opposite sex, either with the gesture, with your face, being all serious or something. But they almost want you to be a little more flamboyant and be a little more, not saying gay, but to take more of a non-alpha male approach to model. It's weird. But you don't have to be jacked, if that makes sense. So like when I'm talking about jacked, I'm talking about it's not bodybuilding. It's specifically you're trying to appeal to the opposite sex. So I wanted to show people the difference. You have the hand modeling, you have like fashion modeling, you have swimwear, but you have like modeling, and I'm talking about like modeling. Like you are aesthetic, so you don't have like you'd have to be working in that avenue to understand it. But the point is I want it to be more in line with that narrative, regardless of how people felt. So this means taking care of your body to the fullest. It's not something football likes to hear, but I'd like my body to be healthy. And I don't care what people have to say. I'm kind of explaining this a little bit wrong, but the point is just understanding that know how much value you are really worth before you get into football and without all the distractions. Like really know how valuable you really are, because you're going to hear the wrong information because people make mistakes. So I was telling people, like, just know how valuable you really are, and don't be afraid to walk away so that other people have a chance to give you an opportunity.